If what you think about female pleasure came from movies, locker room myths, or loud internet advice, you were trained to fail before you ever began. That uneasy feeling in your chest right now is not an accident. It's the moment when a comforting lie starts to crack. Before we go deeper, take 1 second to protect your growth. Subscribe to this channel and like this video, because what I'm about to share rarely gets said honestly, and it will change how you see intimacy forever. I'm speaking to you not as a performer, not as someone selling fantasy, but as a female psychologist who has listened to thousands of women describe their private truth when no one was trying to impress anyone. Here is the first reality most men are never taught. Female orgasm is not about endurance. It is not about performance, and it is absolutely not about how long you last. In fact, when a woman feels emotionally safe, mentally present, and psychologically attuned, her body does not need extended stimulation to respond. The body follows the mind, not the clock. The idea that she needs 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or some heroic effort is often a projection of male anxiety, not female biology. When a woman is relaxed, when she feels chosen rather than evaluated, her nervous system shifts into receptivity. In that state, arousal becomes efficient. 6 minutes is not a magic number. It is a reflection of alignment. Alignment between trust, attention, and intention. Most men unknowingly sabotage this by trying too hard. They rush not with speed, but with pressure. Pressure to prove something, pressure to deliver an outcome. Her body reads that pressure as danger, even if she smiles. When the mind senses expectation, it tightens. When it senses presence, it opens. Understand this deeply. Female pleasure is not activated by friction alone. It is activated by permission. Permission to let go. Permission to stop monitoring herself, permission to stop worrying about your ego. When you remove the unspoken demand to perform, you remove the biggest obstacle to her orgasm. This is why some women climax quickly with the right partner and struggle endlessly with others. It was never about technique. It was about psychological leadership. When she feels guided rather than judged, her body responds faster than you were ever told it could. Sit with that discomfort. It means you're learning something real. What most men miss is that arousal is not built in the body first, it is built in the mind. By the time a woman is physically responsive, her brain has already decided whether she feels safe, seen, and understood. 6 minutes works only when the psychological groundwork was laid long before clothes ever moved. That groundwork is invisible, but it is decisive. Women do not separate intimacy from context. The tone of your voice earlier, the way you listened without interrupting, the absence of subtle impatience, all of it accumulates. Her nervous system keeps score. When she feels emotionally settled, her body does not need convincing. It cooperates naturally. Many men unknowingly trigger resistance by turning intimacy into a test. They watch her reactions too closely, waiting for signs, checking progress, mentally asking, is this working? That internal questioning leaks into your body language. She senses evaluation instead of presence. Her system tightens and time stretches longer with less result. Confidence in intimacy is not dominance. It is calm certainty. It is moving without rushing, touching without asking for reassurance, and staying grounded even in silence. When a woman feels that steadiness, her mind relaxes its guard. Relaxation is the gateway to orgasm, not effort. Another uncomfortable truth is that novelty is less important than attunement. You do not need endless techniques. You need accurate attention. When she feels accurately read, when your responses match her subtle cues, her body responds faster. Misattunement forces her to stay mentally alert. Attunement allows surrender. This is why some women say, it just happened so fast, and others say, I couldn't get there at all. The difference was not stimulation, it was nervous system alignment. Her body reached coherence instead of conflict. Understand this, 6 minutes does not mean rushing. It means efficiency created by trust. It means she is not monitoring herself, not worrying about your expectations, not trying to perform pleasure back to you. Her mind is free. When a woman feels free, her body does not delay. It responds honestly and quickly. That speed is not fragility. It is safety, and safety is the most powerful aphrodisiac there is. Remember this truth as a man. Mastery in intimacy is quiet. It is felt, not announced. When you lead with calm, her body follows without resistance, without delay, without confusion, because trust has already done the work you thought effort had to do. Always. Another truth that unsettles many men is this. Her body is not slow. It is selective. When a woman takes a long time, it is rarely because she needs more stimulation. It is because something in her environment or in you has not earned her full trust yet. Her nervous system is doing its job, not malfunctioning. Women are wired to scan for emotional congruence. They notice micro-contradictions, the mismatch between what you say and how you act,
the difference between confident touch and anxious intent. Even when she cannot name it, her body registers it. That registration either opens the gate or quietly keeps it closed. This is why many women report stronger orgasms with partners who say less but feel more grounded. Silence when calm is powerful. It signals safety. Safety allows her mind to disengage from analysis. When analysis stops, sensation intensifies rapidly. 6 minutes happens when she does not feel responsible for managing your feelings. If she senses that you need validation, praise, or reassurance, she stays mentally active. Mental activity delays physical release. When she feels that you are steady regardless of outcome, her body lets go faster. There is also a misunderstanding about control. Many men think leading means directing every move.
In reality, leadership in intimacy is about holding emotional space. It is about staying present without forcing momentum. When she feels emotionally held, her body accelerates naturally. Another psychological factor is anticipation. Female arousal responds strongly to expectation when it is gentle, not pressured. When she trusts that you are patient, even if nothing happens, paradoxically, something happens sooner. Pressure kills anticipation. Calm amplifies it. This is why women often climax faster in situations where there is emotional clarity. No mixed signals, no performance anxiety, no hidden agenda, just presence. Her body interprets clarity as safety. Understand this deeply. The female orgasm is not a reward you earn by effort. It is a response to conditions. When the conditions are right, time becomes irrelevant. When they are wrong, time stretches endlessly. Men who master intimacy stop chasing results. They focus on state. Your state becomes her signal. If you are calm, she calms. If you are grounded, she grounds. If you are present, she arrives faster than you expect. This is not mysticism, it is psychology. And once you understand it, you stop trying to last longer, do more, or prove anything. You start creating the conditions where 6 minutes is not surprising. It is natural. Here is where many men quietly struggle because this truth challenges ego. Female orgasm is not something you trigger with action. It is something you allow by removing obstacles. One of the biggest obstacles is unconscious impatience. Not rushing in time, but rushing in outcome. When a woman senses that you are aiming for a finish line, her body resists, even if she wants to want it. Her nervous system asks a simple question: am I being experienced, or am I being used to complete a story in his head? When the answer feels unclear, her body delays. When the answer feels safe, her body responds quickly. 6 minutes becomes possible when she feels no pressure to arrive anywhere. When she senses that you are not measuring success by her response, her system relaxes. Relaxation compresses time. Tension stretches it. Another overlooked factor is emotional permission. Many women carry subconscious rules about pleasure, rules shaped by past partners, shame, or self-judgment. When she feels subtly guided without being pushed, those rules soften. Your calm presence gives her permission to experience without self-censorship. Men often believe intensity creates climax. In reality, consistency creates safety, and safety allows intensity to emerge naturally. When your energy stays even, her mind stops bracing. When her mind stops bracing, sensation deepens rapidly. There is also the issue of distraction. If she is wondering what you think of her body, her reactions, or her timing, she stays split. Split attention blocks release. Unified attention accelerates it. When she feels fully accepted in the moment, her body responds faster. This is why women often say they climax unexpectedly with certain men. Nothing special was done. Something important was absent. Judgment, pressure, self-consciousness. The absence created space. 6 minutes is not about efficiency in touch. It is about efficiency in trust. Trust collapses time. Doubt expands it. A man who understands this stops narrating intimacy internally. He stops tracking progress. He stops adjusting himself based on imagined expectations. He stays present. Presence is grounding. Grounding is contagious. When she feels grounded by you, her body synchronizes. Synchronization removes friction between mind and body. When that friction disappears, her response becomes quick, natural, and unforced. This is why chasing techniques fails. Techniques create self-monitoring. Self-monitoring slows everything down. Psychological safety speeds everything up. Remember this: when her body responds quickly, it is not because she is easy. It is because she is comfortable. Comfort is earned through emotional steadiness, not performance. And when you offer that steadiness consistently, 6 minutes stops sounding shocking. It starts sounding logical. Another hidden truth is that speed in female orgasm is often misunderstood as lack of depth. In reality, it is often the opposite. When a woman feels deeply connected, her body doesn't hesitate. Hesitation comes from uncertainty, not from meaning. When meaning is clear, response is immediate. Many men assume that if it happens quickly, it must be shallow. This belief quietly creates tension. That tension is felt. When you doubt the validity of her response, she senses it and begins to question herself. Questioning pulls her back into her head. Her body slows down again.
6 minutes happens when you fully accept her experience without suspicion. When you trust her response, she trusts it too. Trust removes friction. Friction is what elongates time without satisfaction. There is also the issue of emotional containment. A woman opens faster when she feels that you can handle her reactions without being overwhelmed. If she senses that her pleasure might intimidate you, confuse you, or inflate your ego, she subconsciously restrains herself. Restraint delays release. Emotional maturity accelerates intimacy. When she feels that you remain steady, whether she responds quickly or slowly, she stops regulating herself for you. Self-regulation is effort. Effort slows the body. Freedom speeds it up. Another overlooked factor is pacing before intimacy. Rushed emotional transitions create internal resistance. When connection unfolds naturally without abrupt shifts, her nervous system stays open. Openness allows faster arousal. It is not about foreplay length, it is about emotional continuity. This is why some moments feel effortless and others feel forced. Effortlessness is not luck, it is alignment. Alignment between mood, trust, and presence. Men who understand this stop measuring intimacy by duration. They measure it by coherence. Is her mind where her body is? Is she fully present or partially guarding? When she is fully present, her body responds with clarity. 6 minutes is not a rule, it is a signal.
A signal that the environment was safe enough, the connection was clear enough, and the pressure was low enough for her to let go without delay. When you stop equating value with time, you remove one of the biggest sources of anxiety in intimacy. Anxiety stretches time and weakens sensation. Calm compresses time and deepens it. This understanding frees you. You no longer chase endurance, you cultivate steadiness. You stop trying to impress. You focus on being reliable in your energy. Reliability builds trust. Trust shortens the distance between desire and release. And when that distance shrinks, 6 minutes no longer sounds like a shortcut. It sounds like the natural outcome of psychological safety done right. There is a final misconception that quietly undermines many men, and it lives in comparison. Comparing yourself to past partners she may have had, to stories you've heard, or to standards you absorbed without questioning. Comparison creates tension, and tension is the enemy of female surrender. Her body does not respond to competition, it responds to presence. When a woman senses that you are trying to outperform an invisible rival, she feels like an arena instead of a partner. That subtle shift pulls her out of sensation and back into awareness. Awareness slows everything down. Sensation speeds things up. 6 minutes happens when she feels that nothing is being proven, when the moment feels complete on its own without reference to anything before or after. Her body relaxes into it. Completion collapses time. Incompleteness stretches it. Another quiet truth is that women often climax faster when they feel emotionally chosen, not just desired. Desire can feel consuming. Being chosen feels stabilizing. Stability tells her nervous system that she can let go without losing herself. Letting go is what allows rapid release. Men often confuse intensity with urgency. Intensity without urgency is powerful. Urgency signals lack. Lack creates insecurity. Insecurity triggers vigilance. Vigilance delays pleasure. When you bring intensity without haste, her body responds quickly because it feels safe to do so. There is also the role of self-trust. When you trust your own presence, you stop scanning for feedback. You stop adjusting yourself every second. That steadiness becomes a signal. Her body mirrors what it perceives. Calm invites calm. Confidence invites openness. This is why trying to replicate a past success often fails. Replication introduces expectation. Expectation introduces pressure. Pressure fractures presence. Presence is what made it work in the first place. 6 minutes is not something you aim for. It is something that emerges when nothing is forced. When the moment is allowed to be what it is, without narrative or scoreboard, her body often responds sooner than expected. Men who internalize this stop worrying about whether it was fast or slow. They understand that timing is feedback, not judgment. Feedback about safety, trust, and emotional clarity. When you receive that feedback without ego, you become more effective without trying. Effectiveness in intimacy is quiet. It feels effortless because it is built on alignment, not effort. And when alignment is present, the body does not delay. It responds honestly. Sometimes that honesty arrives quickly. Sometimes it takes time. Both are valid. But when it arrives in 6 minutes, it is not a mystery. It is psychology working exactly as it was designed to work. Here is the truth that separates men who struggle from men who are quietly unforgettable. Female pleasure accelerates when a woman feels emotionally uninterrupted. Interruption does not always come from outside noise. It often comes from subtle emotional leaks. A glance that asks for approval, a breath that signals uncertainty, a shift that says you are thinking instead of feeling. Her body is exquisitely sensitive to those shifts. When she feels you leave the moment mentally, even for a second, she follows you there. That departure slows everything. When you stay fully embodied, she stays with you. Togetherness compresses time.
6 minutes happens when there is no emotional static. Static comes from self-consciousness, from trying to remember what to do next, from narrating the experience instead of inhabiting it. When narration stops, sensation takes over. Another truth most men never hear is that women climax faster when they feel emotionally led, but physically unpressured. Emotional leadership says, I am here, I am steady, and nothing needs to be proven. That message allows her nervous system to release control. Control is heavy, releasing it lightens everything. Men often think attraction alone is enough. Attraction opens the door, but safety allows entry. Without safety, attraction stalls at the threshold. With safety, attraction flows inward quickly. This is why emotional unpredictability slows female response. If she is unsure how you will react emotionally, she stays alert. Alertness blocks surrender. Predictable steadiness invites it. 6 minutes is also connected to permission to enjoy without consequence. When she does not fear judgment, attachment, or emotional obligation afterward, her body relaxes. Relaxation accelerates pleasure. Anxiety delays it. Notice how none of this is about anatomy. None of it is about tricks. It's about emotional hygiene, clean energy, no hidden agendas, no silent scorekeeping. Men who understand this stop asking, what am I doing wrong, and start asking, what am I transmitting emotionally? Transmission is constant. Even silence transmits. Even stillness communicates. When what you transmit is calm acceptance, her body responds without resistance. Resistance is what takes time to dissolve. When resistance is absent, time is irrelevant. This is why some moments feel timeless and others feel endless. Timeless moments are free of internal conflict. Endless moments are filled with it. If you want intimacy to move faster, paradoxically, you stop trying to move it at all. You focus on staying grounded. Grounded men create grounded spaces. Grounded spaces allow female pleasure to emerge naturally and efficiently.
6 minutes is not about speed. It is about the absence of drag. Remove the drag, and her response arrives when it is ready, often sooner than you were taught to expect. The final truth I want to leave you with is this. The female orgasm is not a mystery to be solved. It is a response to an environment you create. When men hear 6 minutes, they think shortcut. In reality, it is the result of emotional clarity stacked over time. It is not about what happens in those minutes. It is about everything that made those minutes possible. When a woman feels emotionally understood, not analyzed, her body does not stall. When she feels accepted without conditions, her nervous system relaxes. When she relaxes, sensation intensifies quickly. Speed is not the goal. Ease is the signal. Many men chase techniques because techniques feel controllable. Psychology feels invisible. But invisible does not mean weak. It means foundational. You do not see gravity, yet everything responds to it. Emotional safety works the same way. 6 minutes happens when gravity is on your side, when there is no emotional friction fighting against attraction, when nothing inside her needs to stay alert. Alertness is useful for survival, not for pleasure. Pleasure requires permission to stop watching the room. This is why the most powerful shift you can make is internal. Stop treating intimacy like a performance review. Stop measuring your value by outcomes. Start focusing on the state you bring into the space. Calm, presence, acceptance. When you carry those consistently, her body learns something important. It learns that it does not need to wait. Waiting is a defense. Trust removes the need for it. Understand this as a man growing into mastery. Quick does not mean careless. It means aligned. It means the distance between desire and safety was short. It means her body trusted the moment enough to respond honestly. And sometimes it will take longer. That is not failure. That is feedback. Feedback asking for more grounding, not more effort. When you stop attaching your ego to timing, you become steadier. When you become steadier, intimacy becomes simpler. Simpler does not mean less meaningful. It means less cluttered by fear. This is the quiet confidence women respond to. Not bravado, not pressure, not urgency, but the man who knows he does not need to force anything. 6 minutes is not a promise. It is a possibility that appears when psychology is respected. Respect the mind and the body follows faster than you were ever told it would.